Hello traders, good weekend. Vladimir here, and this is the weekly forecast for the week of 18 of March 2017. Actually, it's 19 of March. Last week was very interesting after the FOMC as expected, and the biggest question would be now, what's coming next? Is the reaction from the market with the anti-dollar moves is here to stay, or was it just temporary reaction, and after all the Federal Reserve hikes would affect the price? So basically, we can summarize that the current moves happening against the dollar are basically just here to present one thing. The traders do not believe that the Federal Reserve would be able to increase the rates twice more as they predicted. We will have a speech from Ms. Helene this week on Thursday, so it will be pretty interesting to hear what she has to say. But in general, current reaction was that the market simply does not believe the Fed with the hikes to come. And that's the reaction that happened basically. So what's coming this week? This week would be much more quiet in terms of the fundamental. We have the monetary policy meetings minutes in Australia on Monday, CPI in Britain, core retail sales in Canada, together with the GDT price index in New Zealand on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have the official cash rate in New Zealand, which should be very interesting impact, should bring very interesting impact on the New Zealandian pairs. And basically, that's all. We have a speech from Helene on Thursday, as mentioned, and it should keep it quiet. So let's go back to the charts and let's see what are the opportunities we might be dealing with. So let's start with the New Zealandian dollar. This pair basically has very interesting situation here because it seems like it's moving inside the range. We had one false break on the top and we do have a false break on the bottom. Now we are bottoming, seems like it's bottoming, and there is a good chance we are about to rally to the middle and maybe even to this high, maybe even all the way to the new 61.8 area, which is here, okay, which would be, believe it or not, just the middle of the previous move, this one. Okay, that's a very important thing to actually to see now what's about to happen. And as I would say it this way, as long as the last button does hold, the bearish pressure, the bullish pressure, pardon, is on, and I would expect some continuation to the upside. On the 4-hour chart, we can see we start to build up on some movement. We can see some range here, some triangle building up, but I would expect a continuation for two waves, and at least to the trend line we have developing here. And after that, to the middle of the daily range and further. But we have the cash rate in New Zealand this week, which should be an interesting impact because last meetings in New Zealand, the central bank was not hiding the wish to see lower rates and lower prices in the New Zealandian pairs, New Zealand currency versus all the pairs. And if they take the move and decrease the rates, or alternatively, if they take some move and make some hint for the future to come, that's gonna affect the New Zealandian pairs. So we have to stay very connected here because, as I said, as long as the bottom holds, we remain bullish. If this one will be broken, there is a very good chance we are going for another push down, final push down, maybe to double bottom around 0.62 or so, maybe lower even. So we keep an eye here, and we'll see how this week with the news should go here. Aussie dollar, I believe, should continue further. According to the weekly cycles, we have more to go. I believe this is about going to happen, the second leg. We have an amazing equal tails candle here, which I love a lot. So I would expect corrections to bring buy opportunities. According to the daily chart, we potentially still holding this double top. I want to see this trend line being broken and that would be very good positive sign for continuation. So I would be trading this way with the breakout of the trend line mentioned before. Breakout, it would be bend to bend. It would bring us to 61.8 of this cycle with some divergence from this area. I would expect 2 waves correction and further continuation. I would expect 0.84 as a final target. So in other words, as long as these bottom holes remain bullish and every 2 waves down we get, if we get, go and look for the long opportunities. Pound dollar was, a crossing between these two, Aussie Kiwi, if I just find it. Here we go, Aussie Kiwi, looks amazing, reached an amazing value zone, double cycle of these two. Okay, so from this area or a bit further, now take a look where a bit further could be. If this is our double cycle, we could see that going towards 111 up to 112. And if this is the cycle here, we currently, as you can see, on the duplication area, right? Here we go, on the duplication. So I would expect an action from here. But if we go through, we go from 111 towards 112, maybe even 113. And that could happen again with the with the New Zealandian news to come this week. So we keep an eye here. The bottom line, every drop down we would want to buy because of the monthly and the weekly cycles, right? But on the short term, we had one false break. If we complete the second one, we can go and look for shorts. But we have now a trend line breakout, as you can see here. So in other words, on the 1 hour chart, I would go and try to trade below this low. If we manage to go below this low here, pull back into waves, and I'll be looking for possible shorts. Alternatively, what could happen here is some reversal, one more false break higher, then lower lows from this area this time, because this is currently the last low, and 2 legs, breakout, and look for sells. The target would be in the daily cycle, this one, 38.2 correction should be right here. Okay, so this provides us some good risk reward opportunity if we manage to get the setup done. Keep an eye here. Next one on the list, and I want to go back to the majors. Pound dollar is a monster and it's flying, and I believe we are about to continue to move inside this range this pair has for us. In other words, that means we are going to the top of the range, which is right here. That's above 126. So I remain bullish on this pair. I said it not once, not twice. I stay bullish there only. We have triple cycle here, 1, 2, 3, which means we might start to get some correction. Every 2 waves down, we look for buy opportunities. What it could start to do as well is to turn that into special. So that will be 1, and that will be double, and one more push. So from this area, we might get looking for possible intraday shorts, short-term shorts, back to the middle, and then continuation to the upside. If we take a look here on the pound dollar, we are dancing around and above the top. The days for possible tops actually are right now. See that? 18, 19. If we cross through them, we have 21, 22. And then if we continue through these days, we have the 26, 28, end of the month. So these days, as you can see, we might be looking for some sell setups, short term of course, because long term the bullish idea remains on. Next one on the list would be the euro pound, which is well, how to say that, should be great opportunity. That's still head and shoulders. It looks good here. It's holding that. I believe we are going to the downside, and every 2 waves, as long as the trend line holds, yeah, every 2 waves move up is opportunity to go short. First target would be this triple cycle we have here from this place, of course. So the 15, that would be the first target around 86. Next target would be the neckline from the daily chart, this one, yeah, and the next one would be, of course, the according to the cycle we have from the weekly, the 50% of the triple cycle here, 1, 2, range 3, and which would be the final target actually right here, 81. So you can imagine the risk reward here, and that's really amazing. Now what could happen with this pair is basically one more retrace, one more push to the upside to close the gap, or even a bit higher, like 089, 090, and then the crash to happen. That's still a scenario, as we are dancing and moving according to the weekly range, which is pretty big. That was the false break. So this is our zone of tops, and this is the false break on the bottom, so this is the bottom. Okay, so that's what brings us to two scenarios here. We follow them, and they could be paying big time. Dollar Canadian, as long as the top holds and the resistance remain, I remain bearish in my mind. Every 2 waves rally, I believe we are going to short. Only if the last resistance break, we might get going towards 138 or so. I'm doubtful, but that still could happen. I remain bearish and I expect the second leg down to begin. Other words, 2 waves creating here. We want that go further, maybe closer to the trend line, and then break of this trend line, and we are after sales opportunities. So in other words, rallies should be sold with the breakouts. If we take a look on dollar Canadian here on the weekly chart, on the daily chart, currently it's fighting this tunnel, and that's what make it basically the problems here, right? But on the tops we have 18, 20, and 23, 24. So the coming period should bring the pressure and provide a sell opportunities. Now if we take a look, where is my okay, here we go. This is our resistance. Okay, this is the trend line. We want it to be broken here, as long as it holds, of course, and the trend line holds. Yeah, we want it to be broken and get it to the downside. Now this is forex crystal ball. That's date. I get the date and the levels to trade. If you want to have any more information, just go to this site, okay, forexcrystalball.com, and see how you can get this system, of course, and to use that. Next one would be the pound versus the Canadian, which is finally breaking above this triangle, which is huge range from the daily chart. Looks good, behaves good, feels good, and I would make it very simple. As long as it holds, the breakout holds, every 2 waves down, can go for buys. The expectations would be second leg to complete, which means we need to go to 38 to correction of the double cycle from the weekly. Other words, 177. Ooh. How many pips we have on the top, right? So stay tuned for this pair. It should provide really good opportunity. Aussie Canadian is the one I have another on the list. Let me just find it. Aussie CAD. Where did I put it? Where is it? Here we go. Aussie CAD is going probably to the level we have been having on the alternative scenario. Okay, this is our duplication. It's irrelevant because the second leg is bigger, but the level is relevant as a triple cycle of the 4-hour chart here. 1 range, 2 range, 3 bring us exactly to the same place. And if we measure this cycle, you would see that it matches exactly there. So if we manage to reach this area, which is approximately around 103.50, slightly higher, slightly lower, this should be an amazing opportunity to look for sales. Now I would suggest also this trend line from the tops, and if we manage by any chance to get it broken up, close down again, start to look for massive sell opportunities. This one really should be great opportunity to come. CAD franc, I wanted to see that pushing a bit lower, ideally below 0.74, even more ideally around 0.73, and start to buy this one. We have also a trend line to follow here. Okay, so what it could do is basically this 2 waves correction and could hold it. All right, so we need to see around the 0.74, or if it breaks, we go to slightly a bit lower than 0.73 and start to massively buy. Get ready for an action here. This is also a special cycle building up on the 4-hour chart. Could be really not bad opportunity. Now, I was asked a lot about the yen pairs, and to be honest, guys, I don't have a clue as for now. Dollar yen is just dancing here around the range. I believe this is here to continue. Okay, in other words, I believe this is going to do the second cycle, which is like this. So 61.8 or the duplication, or who knows, maybe even 161.8. So I remain bearish in my mind, but as I said, we are stuck in the daily range, so we need to break down, retrace, and then continuations. How that's going to affect on all the other yen pairs, I have really no idea. I don't have any clear view, so as for now, excuse me, I would avoid. I got a lot of questions during the weekend. Vlad, what do you think about the yen pairs? I really don't have a read here, and I wouldn't deal with them. I do believe there are better opportunities to follow. And generally speaking, I remain bearish on them. Okay, so we'll be looking for sells rather than buys, at least as for now. Well, euro dollar is a pair also I don't have a clear read as for now. I avoid it. I will keep updating you guys on the daily forecast. Okay, those of you, of course, who have access to the daily forecast, I will keep you updated there, of course. Euro franc holding the support area around the 107. As long as it does, I would remain bullish, expecting the buys to continue. And the 4-hour chart basically has this setup for us. Okay, it has false break here. So if we can manage go above this high, like break up, retrace, and then we can look for buys, I would expect for a second leg to push it higher, like 109, 110. Definitely could use us as target, as long as the 107 down to 106.80 zone holds. Let me check my next list. Alright, Euro Kiwi, I want to go long, as I explained on the previous week. So there are two options this pair is going to work right now. One of the options is this. Okay, we're gonna stop here somewhere in this area and start to fly, but I would trade it only after the news from the Central Bank of New Zealand. The other option is we go lower to here, the 161, which would be ideal, and we fly from there because we have a trend line in as well, also waiting to this area. Now, why do we stay long here? Because of this bullish convergence. Basically, the bottom line is buy bottoms. This pair should provide great opportunities. Keep that in your idea and in your list. Gold and silver also remaining bullish as long as the bottom holds. The idea keeps bullish. We have a bullish hidden divergence here. 2 waves down, we can look for buys as long as the low holds. In terms of the levels, you can check here some good levels to look for buys. You see, it was holding once. Now we have some resistance, so if we can go this area or this area, we then can start looking for the buy opportunities. Same with the gold, of course. Okay, it's dancing around this area, so from here we are looking for buys, ideally from a bit lower, and we have really nice targets above this, above the current levels. And about the indices, which are traded under new contract for June. This is S&P, and we are looking for false breaks to happen in order to trade, or this trend line to be broken, and then it should be the call. Same, of course, it does for the Dow Jones. We need to see this breakout here in order to get that making it ready, or we are going for a false break above the last high and then building it up. Nowhere to rush, just give that an idea. Dollar and the oil, which looks like an amazing opportunity from my point of view. We had some drop down after the latest news from oil and development in this market. I still remain bullish in this area. The further it drops, the better the buy would be. We currently have this trend line on the weekly chart and on the daily chart as well. And this is also an opportunity to look for buys, and on the 4-hour chart it could complete, and by ideally it would complete this special cycle, something like that. Here, one, boom, range, one more push here, false break, and getting ready for buys. Keep oil in your watch list. That might turn to be an amazing opportunity. That will be all for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching. A lot of opportunities. I hope we covered everything, and I will keep covering on a daily forecast for you, of course. So thank you for your time, and enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon. Yours, Vladimir Ribakov.